Hello, hi everyone. It's Coach Crystal
Coach Janae.
and so we are on again at a new time. I know you guys are kind of used to our pops, but we are officially going to make Fridays here, at least inside our Facebook group, the live time, because Fit Beyond 40 on Friday makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't want, to have the lunch break with us? So while you're mowing on your lunch, make sure that you're here live, and because we would like to roll out in following episodes where we have a live Q&A at the end of every episode. So we want to start implementing that. So we're hoping that Fridays at noon EST for most of you guys, you can join us during your lunch break, and you can ask some questions at the end of every episode. If you are joining us and it's your very, very first time with us, my name is Coach Crystal. I am the host of the Get Crystallized show, and like Crystal's, strong women are made under pressure. And I've been so blessed to have my co-host, Coach Janae, with me for this amazing series, which we titled Road to Pro, because Coach Janae and I are both pros, both professional fitness competitors. And all over the past, I think I have 6 or 7 episodes, we've been sharing the ins and outs about how to get onto that stage when you're over 40. And the information that we've been sharing with you actually is very relatable, even if you're a woman, going through menopause transition, and your goal is just to get into bikini and not necessarily step on stage. We've talked all about the best supplements, how to get better sleep, what are even the different categories if you're thinking of competing. And today we're really, really excited because we're going to give you a little overview of what to expect on competition day, what it's like backstage, and then we have 2 clips of us actually on the stage, which happened this past weekend, and we'll kind of like be our own little commentators. So I'm really, really excited for this episode. Coach Janae, I would just love for you to kind of share what was, I guess, your biggest highlight from this weekend before we talk about what happens like to get onto that stage, athletes meeting and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think like the biggest highlight of the day is it's that moment like right before stage. For me, it's always going to be, and especially with this particular show, like I'm not going on stage until very late in the day. And so there's a lot of buildup, right? There's a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of like worry. There's a lot of just trying to like manage what you're eating and drinking. There's a lot going into it. So when that moment finally happens, there is, number one, you're just like, I just want to do this already, right? Like you just want to get out there. So it's very exciting. And at that moment, for me personally, it's just, I let it all go, right? Like that is like the final release. It's now or never, right? Like this is it. This is the moment. This was the entire year, right? It comes down to this second, right? So for me, that's always like my personal highlight is that moment right before, because I know I'm just about to do it, right? So, and of course, once you're on stage and, you can hear your friends kind of cheering you on. Yes, you can hear Coach Crystal yelling. So, yes, Janae, right? So I know, right? Like that is definitely a highlight. And then I would also combine that with, it is a highlight to watch my teammates and my coaches go up on stage and give it their all and really prove, like they're living the talk, right? They're walking the talk. And, and it's not just that, minute, 2 minutes that they are on stage, but everything that led up to that. I know all the work that went into that. So those are always like my highlight moments. And it's all, circled around the stage, right? Like that moment on stage, whether it's myself or my my fellow kind of like teammates getting up on stage and really kind of like strutting their stuff and showing it and being proud and being joyful in that moment and grateful. So I love that, like everything all day long. That's what I'm waiting for, right?
So good. Mine's similar. For me, my own personal highlight, I think, would be the second I step on stage, because being on stage is home to me. Like I've got a theater background, and that part of my life, I mean, I've been a performer my whole life, and I miss being on stage. And this kind of 1 minute that we get, 2 minutes the most on stage, it really, I just feel at home. I'm like, yes, this is where I belong. So for me personally, it's the moment my heels step onto the stage, I'm like, home. And then similar to you, because my husband competed this year. I'm so proud of him, because he's it's been 5 years since he stepped on stage and witnessed his transformation. He brought such an amazing package. And then, like you said, Coach Janae, I am also a coach for all of my ladies, and especially you. Like oh my gosh, being a stage mom is one of the most fulfilling, it's the most fulfilling like joys of my life, because I am fully aware of the blood, sweat, tears, and the sacrifices. I visually see you train every single time that you do. I know the hard work that you put into it, and it coming all together. And I like, I'll have a lot more to say when we share your video, but every single time I'm just like, oh, the pride. I'm like, my babies look so good, so there's nothing more that brings me, aside from me stepping on stage because it feels like home, there's nothing more just gratifying and satisfying than seeing every single one of my athletes step on that stage and feel like $1,000,000. Like all right, so I think we need to kind of rewind for those of you that are kind of interested or have no idea what competing is all about. So before the day of the show, there's normally an athlete's check-in. Now, with the federation that we compete with, UFE, the check-in is the night before. So what we do as a team, and it varies with different athletes, but specifically with the R3 team, we will get our tan the day before the show, and so that it really seeps into our skin. And that evening, so the Friday night, the show's on the Saturday, we'll go to the athletes meeting. So what is the athletes meeting all about, Coach Janae?
So the athletes meeting is really kind of like that opportunity to, I mean, number one, you can kind of scope everything out and see who's there, right? Like, who's here?
This is my biggest competition.
That athletes meeting is to kind of like register, get your number, right? Get your button. There'll be a few announcements, maybe something's different this year. They'll just kind of give like a rundown of what to expect and when the day will start the next day. That will be your opportunity to check and make sure that your waiver's been signed, you've submitted your bio. It's also an opportunity if there's any last minute changes with category swaps. Like, this is basically your last opportunity to kind of complete that registration process and finalize it, right? So you pick up your competitor tank, you grab your number. If you want to purchase like stage pictures, like all of that, that's your opportunity to do that. And then really you make your way through as quick as possible. And so you can be on your way, get home and get some good night's sleep, because the next day will be bright and early, right?
Yes. And for the ladies that on the R3 team that do the transformation category, that's your opportunity to make sure that you have your before pictures submitted, because what's really cool about the transformation category is in the backdrop is a giant picture of your before picture. And then when you come out in your after, physique, it's just, wow, it's so powerful. So you at athletes meeting, you're making sure that they have your before picture and they read a short essay, which I think is very powerful as well, because it shares your transformation story, which for our ladies who might not necessarily want to compete in any of the fitness competition, bikini, wellness, fitness model, but want to experience stepping on the stage for the first time, the transformation category is the category for you. And you can wear whatever you want that shows off your new after physique. You don't have to wear a bikini. You could wear booty shorts and a t-shirt if you want to, but so long as it accentuates the hard work and shows the work that you put in and your transformation, you could wear whatever you want on that stage, which I think is also really great. We had two competitors last year who, one of them, Andrea, she had customized really beautiful two-piece with long sleeves, and it had a really nice bikini bottom that accentuated her booty. And then Myra, who competed, she wore a one-piece with a sarong. So, they didn't have to go out in a two-piece bikini. So this is something that you're maybe thinking about. What would it like to step on the stage, but not necessarily compete in a specific kind of fitness competition like category? Transformation is the way to go. And what's really cool is that now they have highlighted a transformation category at Worlds as well. So the best of the best transformation get to experience the world stage. So, just planting a seed right now, because we are accepting applications for Team 2024. So if that's something that interests you, maybe the transformation category is the very first kind of like stepping stone for you. All right, so we're all tanned up. The day of the show. Now, normally, so for me personally, I competed at the elite level. I am a pro competitor, but in the figure category. Now, in order for me to be a pro competitor in wellness, I had to have placed first place in masters or in the open category top 3. So that was my goal that day. That was my goal on Saturday. And so elite is the same day as worlds. It's in the morning. So for me personally, that required me to get up at 4:30 in the morning. I had my first meal. I went to get my makeup done first. I get my hair done as well. Because for me, one, I don't wear makeup on a normal basis. Like I foundation, a little bit of blush, and that's it. Like I'm a very simple girl when it comes to makeup. And stage makeup is a whole new beast. First of all, we're tanned from, and you can still see my tan, like it's kind of slowly coming off. Like we're tanned from like the neck down. So you need, if you're not good at makeup, I highly suggest you have a professional makeup artist, because to blend your face to your neck, if you want it to blend seamlessly. So I would definitely, for all the ladies out there who are not well versed in makeup application, to hire someone that is. So I don't do makeup on a daily basis. So I'm like, I got a couple of girls in my back pocket who I asked, months ahead of time to do my makeup. So get that done. I don't do my hair either. Like, honestly, I only have long hair so that I have hair to work with the day of the show. That's so, and I think I announced already that I'm taking a full year off to build next year. I'm not competing in 2024. I'm going to compete in 2025. So I should do a full episode on what I'm going to do with this hair, because I'm going to do something different with my hair. Maybe I'll go live and I'll do one episode about that. But I literally have someone do my hair as well. And so the show is at 10, which means the athletes check-in on show day is at 9:30 a.m. And backstage, it's a giant room with half-naked people walking around in their bikinis, in their like little, swimsuit bottoms, the men. Everyone's tanned up. You kind of get used of like, used to the tanning / BO / spray smell back there.
Yeah.
Everyone's eating, their eggs and rice cakes
Yeah.
and, from their Tupperware. You basically see rice cakes everywhere. You see maybe some treats like chocolates, because those types of things, the chocolates and the treats, is literally what we'll eat maybe an hour before we hit the stage to get something immediate into our muscle. And we do like a very kind of quick pump to kind of fill out the muscle before we get on stage as well. So you'll see a lot of, candy bars backstage, lots of people, beautiful people, half naked, a lot of the times with their feet up or pumping.
Yeah.
I love it backstage.
I know. It's nice.
It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. So what's more what, for someone who's never competed before, Coach Janae, it could feel intimidating, but what's your own personal experience when you're backstage with all the other athletes?
Well, I mean, there is, it could be intimidating, not just because, if it's your first time, you don't know what to expect. And, there is a lot, whether, whichever show you're competing in, whatever category, there could be a lot of ladies back there with a lot more experience, right? And certainly a lot of pre-existing relationships, right? It's a very kind of close-knit group, if you will, right? Regardless of organization, there tends to be, a lot of people that know each other just from being either in the industry or competing in other organizations, or maybe they met each other last year and befriended each other. So, so you will look around and see that, and that can seem a little intimidating if you're brand new, but it's also very welcoming. And this particular organization, I find, is at least from what I've heard from other competitors and other athletes, is that it is very welcoming. It is very friendly. Everyone is willing to lend a hand and help. And yes, you are competitors, but at the end of the day, you're all going through the same thing, and you're all experiencing the same thing. So, and they know what it's like, especially if you're a first timer. They know exactly what those feelings are like. If you're nervous, if you don't know what to expect, there's somebody there, not just, from the organization to help guide you. It's your time on stage, or, start getting ready, or whatever the case. There's also all of the other athletes that are willing to kind of help you out as well, right? You'll look around and you'll see people that don't know each other helping, piece together their costumes and stuff. Maybe there was something came loose and we're all kind of gathered around trying to help fix that. Or someone is having a problem with their hair, who knows? And you'll see it. A lot of competitors kind of just jump in and help each other, right? We kind of all got to get on that stage together, right? We want to make this show run smoothly, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. And all of our friends and family in the audience that came to watch. So there's a great sense of pride in competing, again, not just for ourselves, but for the organization and for everyone watching. We take great pride in that, and you'll feel that, and you'll find that intimidation just dissipates almost immediately because of that sense of friendliness and that ease that everyone has back there. It's contagious.
Absolutely. And this is kind of also why I love having my R3 team, because you come in, that's why I also try to pair, some of our athletes at least with another athlete competing in the same show, because then you have each other. So, Mayhem, the one in October, is a big show. And I really try to get my athletes to compete there because of the venue. It's a beautiful theater, comfortable seats. It's an actual theater. So you get proper lighting, you get proper seating. And it's a long show. It's a long day. So to have comfortable seats, I think, is really important. And then for the competitors themselves to experience this big giant stage is it feels like a real huge production. And I love that part. Now at Worlds, it is a smaller stage. I think, comparatively, Mayhem sits 1,000 plus people in the audience, whereas currently where the Worlds is being hosted, only 180 are in the audience. So it's a lot smaller. So that might be less intimidating for people. However, the level of competition is higher, because now in elites and worlds, you're literally competing with, the top 3 in elite, and then you're competing, with the first place winners in worlds. So the caliber of people on stage should be higher, right? Because you should be competing with first place people. So yeah, so what I'd love to do is I'd love to share the screen now. I'll show my posing routine first, because I did compete in the morning, and then we'll be commentators,
Yes.
and we'll show you, Coach Janae. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and we will watch. So this is a posing routine, and what's kind of also different about UFE is, unlike other federations, you have a longer time on stage, and the posing is not as strict. Whereas other federations, they're very specific: front pose, back pose. Like, it has to be literally like 60 seconds. There's no T-walk, so you don't get to walk the whole stage like I will do. Most federations, it's come to the center, front, back, maybe back and forth, but really simple, simple, simple. So just keep in mind, ladies, if you are thinking of a federation, I would highly suggest you watch or go to an orientation, so that you understand what is the requirement in terms of that specific federation when it comes to your posing routine. Because definitely, 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 UFE is the only one of its kind where you're allowed this long of a time on stage, which is why it's really good for first-time competitors, and where there is more freedom and flexibility when it comes to your posing. So I just wanted to put that out there, because this is not the norm. This is not the norm. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and play. So I'm waiting backstage, and then the commentator will say, and our next competitor is competitor 895, Crystal Malari. And so, the ladies that are currently on stage in the back, they've already completed their routine. And so when you're done your routine, you also line up and wait for the next athlete to do theirs. We're coming up to my favorite part of my routine. So I obviously am a posing coach as well, and I choreographed this right there. That's my favorite. Say, and I have to say, Coach Janae, I feel like this year's package in terms of my lower body is a lot better than last year's.
Yeah. Like, you can tell, like, that's where the work went in. Yeah, I just love the posing, and you can see, and what you'll notice once you see mine, like how our style of posing is different based on the category, right? So she's really trying to come across and display kind of like the essence of what this category is meant to represent. And that's why the posing is the way that it is, right? Why she's striking certain poses, the way that she walks, like how she's walking out there, just like all of those bits, like they all tie together to kind of like relay that message of what this category is representing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And, that's a great point. And just to reiterate, in wellness, so we talked about this in a previous episode, but just to recap the category that I'm in wellness, it's the only category for females where there is an imbalance, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In that your upper body should resemble bikini, where it's toned, just capped shoulders, yes, flat stomach, but not crazy ripped. And then the lower body should be bigger on purpose, right? Other categories for females, it should be balanced. It should be symmetrical. But the judges specifically want to see, bigger glutes, bigger, a more defined hamstring glute tie-in, bigger quads. And so one of my what I've learned, and I already knew this coming into the show, is that I actually need to be a lot bigger. And going through my build, I thought I thought I was bigger, but here's the thing, and we shared this with you. When you go through a build, not only are you putting on muscle, but you're also putting body fat. Now, what happens when you start cutting 20, 60, 12 weeks out, you're losing body fat and you're trying to retain as much muscle as possible. But when I started cutting, I realized that I was actually holding more body fat than muscle. So that this is why I've come to the conclusion that I personally, as an athlete, need to take a full year to put on at least 3 to 5 pounds of muscle, specifically in my legs only.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? I may have to do 3 to 4 sessions of legs and maybe 1 session of upper body.
Yeah.
Because the upper body is not what I'm being judged on. It's the lower body. And for me to be competitive, but I did bring some hardware home. I brought bronze. So I gotta add it to my collection of hardware. I bought a bronze home. It wasn't enough to get me to the world stage. I needed first place specifically in masters, but it put a fire under my butt, and it made me realize my butt needs to be bigger.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, you also want to go in with realistic goals. You
Mm-hmm.
also want to like understand, you know what, maybe I need more than a year to be competitive, you know? Or for you ladies, maybe doing the transformation category, like I said, is just to give you a little taste. And then the following year, perhaps then will you consider doing like bikini, right? So yeah, so I'd love for you to share, Coach Janae, as I'm setting up your video, what do the judges look for in your category, which is glamour?
Yes. So, primarily, so our first round is going to be out in our costume. So they are looking for, because you do get scored on your costume. So they are looking at your costume. Does it make sense for you, your person, like what you're bringing to the stage in terms of your personality and your presence? Are you working with your costume? Is it part of your routine? Are you playing with it? See how I use the skirt? I'm trying to play with that costume and make it part of my poses, right? I'm not just wearing a costume. It is part of my presence on stage. And that's what's giving me that confidence. That's what's giving me that attitude of sexiness and a little bit of regalness too. I like to bring for it. They are looking for, and when in terms of like body conditioning, very similar to bikini. So, the athlete should look conditioned, should look fit. You don't have to be, ripped and striated or anything like that. But very similar to Crystal, what Crystal was saying, they are looking for, cap shoulders, flat stomach. You do need to have like your glutes and your legs, but it's very symmetrical, right? They're looking for that overall aesthetic, pleasing look, something that is marketable, Victoria's Secret wise. Are you walking that, the T-walk like a runway? So are you not just owning your costume, but owning the stage, really kind of taking up that presence? And so here we've all moved forward. I was the last competitor to come on in the category. And then we all come to the front to line up. And we don't necessarily, because of our costumes, there is no like quarter turns or turn to the back or anything like that. There is, you have maybe a couple of minutes there, and it's your choice to utilize that time as best you see fit. So work with your costume some more, pose a few more. I had like my 4 or 5 go-to poses that I would just like rotate through and do my best to kind of grab the judge's attention and show kind of like my poses and my costume. Right. So that's kind of like that first round of what we do with the costumes, which I mean is the most fun. Let's be real. Like, it's full costumes, and it's great to see all the other costumes as well. Everyone is so different, right?
I have to say, Coach Janae, like when you walked out with your like skirt cape, the way it flowed, and when you talk about owning the stage, there were some girls that would just kind of like, were a little bubbly, sure, and they came on, but they didn't own their costume. They didn't utilize their costume.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that was where there was disconnected. It was like the costume wore them. It's like, or it's more like, are you even wearing a costume? You know, and that's, you know, what I loved about your performance, aside from the fact this is truly the best package you have ever brought thus far.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, the chisel of your legs, your stomach was so flat, your calves were popping, your booty looked fantastic, and you worked that costume. I was like, oh, my baby! And I was like, oh, yes, Janae! I was like, oh my gosh. I was a bubbling mess because it just came together so beautifully. And I know, like, we had a little bit of like a bumpy road, you know, about 16 weeks out or so, you know, but all things considering, I think this has really driven you. I think you want to compete in June, right? We have a couple of competitors, which is really cool. We do have a couple of competitors that are competing in June, and I do believe Coach Janae is going to, you know, be with them, which is really good because although Maya, this is going to be her second time competing, it's going to be her first time competing in an actual category. So, you know, one of the things is really nice is when I can have one of my, you know, one of my OGs in competing, one of my more seasoned competitors to be backstage with my newbies. So, you know, for me personally, I was thinking about in 2025. So I had my beautiful cousin Jane. She celebrated her 40th birthday, and actually, I think what we can do is we can feature Jane and Joe the next episode. We can show you their so that you girls who are thinking about it can see their before and afters, can see what is possible. I think that's what we'll do, Coach Janae, is feature our athletes from Team 2023. Because like I said, now is the time that we are accepting applications because we start now to prepare for October. We start now, right? So I think that's what we'll do, Coach Janae, in our next episode is we'll show the before and afters of both Jane and Joe. And maybe depending on what time it is, I think we can have them on live. I think that would be really cool if they could share their testimony. So let's plan for that. But all of that to say, you know, the hard work that Coach Jay put in, you know, getting over that little bump in the 16 weeks, the package she brought was undeniable. And so now it lit a fire under her. And she's like, okay, what is possible now for June? Like, what is possible now that I have a little bit more time honing in on my macros, like all the things you can only get, and this is why I love the sport. We can only get better.
Yeah.
Because we learn every comp. Like, here's one thing that I learned. And I made this boo-boo. It's almost a rookie boo-boo. I'm almost embarrassed to admit it. But you know what? I'm learning from it. And that's the whole point. So I did not eat eggs throughout my whole prep. Okay. And I think it's because in my first year of competing, that's all I ate. And now it makes me sick, my stomach, like egg whites specifically. But on show day, I ate egg whites, and it's not part of my regular diet leading up to the show. And I honestly think it made me a little bit bloated because it's something that I don't eat. And so the learning is don't eat something on show day that you haven't actually tested or, you know, that you don't normally eat.
And, that you haven't gotten used to. Yeah.
I haven't gotten used to. Like, I ate a little bit of it. I would say I would say peak week, but it wasn't enough for me to get fully adjusted to it. And I really truly believe I would have just to plain simple carbs, whether it be my regular bagels, which I always eat, doesn't bloat me, the rice cakes. And because on that one day, I don't think it's detrimental to your health to not eat protein. I think what we really need on that day is carbs to pump up our muscle and a little bit of fats, but primarily carbs. We need that simple carb that will just give us a quick burst of energy, pump up our muscles so that when we do a pump, it fills out a little bit. I could have lived without protein. I think for me personally, the protein that I had made me feel bloated. And it showed a little bit on stage. And I was like, oh man, it's the eggs. It's the eggs. I should have stuck some carb, to be honest. So that's kind of where I made a boo-boo. But how about you? The day of the show, there's strategy in our meals. How were your macros on the day?
I very low protein. And so I would 100%, confirm that. But I did a couple of tests, peak week, the week before that, to really nail down the food that I was going to be eating, because I wasn't getting on stage until so late in the day. So you're going to need food. You're going to need the energy to sustain yourself, to get yourself through that. But I didn't want to have to deal with I feel, right after you eat, do you really want to put on an itty bitty tiny little bikini and go prance around in front of a bunch of people? Probably not. Right. So I was really concerned with avoiding that feeling. Right. So I really wanted to practice and nail down the foods that I knew for sure with full confidence I could eat without concern, and it would be fine. And so my go-to was really my bagels, and I would do half a protein bun, because I know that number one, it would sustain me. It would give me some of the energy that I needed. I put jam on it, right? So that would give me the simple carbs, and just a half a protein bun, because I don't need all of that protein. And then I would, just pair that up with half a bagel as well, right? And rice cakes. Rice cakes were the go-to. A little bit of more fat than I was used to, right? So I could do a nut butter on your rice cakes or bagel, whatever the case. But I just kept this, that's literally, I just ate that on repeat every couple of hours. So every 3 to 4 hours, half bagel, half protein bun, rice cake, the jam and the peanut butter. It was a combination of those things. And I have to say that when I went on stage, I felt good. And all through the day, I felt a little hungry, which is what you kind of want. I don't want to feel stuffed or full, right? I should kind of be feeling a little bit of hunger, I can't wait till this is over and I can, eat. But when I got on stage, I felt nice and lean and flat and just ready to kind of go out and tackle it, right? So
your stomach was flat. Your stomach was fat. Honestly, I think, like I said, the package that you brought on that stage was phenomenal. So, and that's hard when you're competing at night. Again, eating foods that sustain you, but that don't bloat you is so important. And here's the thing, and this is why I think it's really important to have a coach when you are competing, because peak week, like Coach Janae said, is an opportunity to test things out so that on the day you are more prepared. Now, again, because I only ate eggs throughout my peak week, I should have been more mindful. It was a lesson that I needed to learn, and I'm glad I learned it, because now I know I'm not going to have eggs on the day of the show. I'm not. And honestly, I'm going to stick to my go-tos, which is bagels, which is the rice cakes and the jam. And if I do the same and not eat the things that make me bloated, I won't have to worry about a bloated belly when I step on stage. And that is what I felt when I was on stage. I felt that. And it didn't matter how much sucking in I did. I was bloated from the eggs, right? So it is what it is, but I learned from it. And then speaking of, I just want to wrap up this segment, and we do have an awesome virtual event happening tomorrow, which we'll talk about briefly at the end. But there's one thing that I do want to share, because when you're part of the R3 team, there is a tradition that is very near and dear to us that we do to, and this is what we all look forward to at the end of a long day of eating rice cake. This is how we celebrate.
Cheers. Cheers. Love you guys. Love you guys.
Oh yeah. Nice big juicy bite of a delicious gourmet donut. So good. I feel like that bite is my love.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. Let's compete just for the donut. Because literally, that's the only way we have it. Like, we literally only have these gourmet donuts after a competition. No other time in the year, because that's what makes it special.
Exactly.
That's what makes it special, you know.
I love it.
But so next week, I think we are going to, like I said, we will make sure that Joe and Jane are on. We'll have their before and afters, and we'll get them to share their testimony, because I think for you ladies who are listening to the podcast, that are watching the live, and you're thinking, could I do this? I really want you to hear from them, because 100%, they never thought they would do it either. 100%, you know, Joe, like, literally, you thought I was bad when it comes to heels? Never wore heels in her life. I at least wore kitten heels when I was in my 20s. Never. She learned how to walk in heels. Jane, you know, I can't wait for her to share her story. You know, turning 40, like, trust me, this, like, I never thought. But when she came up to me and she was like, I'm turning 40. I want to do what you did and celebrate on the stage. I'm like, yes, game on. And I want them to share, like, their journey throughout the process, because it was hard. It's hard, but also rewarding. Now, tomorrow, Coach Janae, we have our 3-hour Fit Beyond 40 recap summit. Now, this summit is literally our 5-day challenge condensed in 3 hours. So what I'm covering tomorrow is the number-1 secret to quitting when you don't see results fast enough. Because we know that 2 weeks after starting a diet, a gym membership, whatever, it's like life happens and boom, you quit. Let's be real. That's on average how long people stay committed. So I'm going to teach you the #1 secret to stop doing that. I'm going to teach you 5 calorie-free things that cause weight gain, especially if you're going through the menopause transition, that you can avoid. So if you want to avoid weight gain over 40, you're gonna want to need to listen to these 5 calorie-free things. And then lastly, the 6 puzzle pieces. The only 6 puzzle pieces you need to permanently release weight and step off that weight loss roller coaster once and for all. Once you have these 6 puzzle pieces in place and you've mastered these pieces, like our graduates, Tracy, who has kept 50 pounds off over the past, I think, 3 years now, like Nino, who no longer has her twin belly. She is like a morning exerciser at 6 a.m. She's permanently changed her identity. Like MJ, who competed in 2 fitness competitions after 40, and she, you know, has permanently been able to keep that weight off. If you want to know these women did it, you're going to want it tomorrow. So there is still an opportunity to register. If you haven't registered, please type Summit down below, SUMMIT down below, so that you can participate. And what if they register, Coach Janae? Second step, they need to book a success call. There's still time to do that. It's a 10-minute call with one of our accountability coaches, and you're one of them. What will people receive if they book a success call? And another caveat is they have to stay for the whole 3 hours. You can't just show up for the first minute, be like, hi, I'm here, and then disappear. No. You have to participate fully throughout the 3 hours and stay to the end. What are we giving away?
So we've got 3 gifts. 3 gifts to give away. We have our 30-day booty camp challenge, the 6-week strong abs challenge, and the 21-day tummy and thigh trimming challenge. So all 3 will be given. If you complete your success call and you stay for all 3 hours, stay all the way to the end, those are yours for free.
Like this, that's a pretty crazy fitness bundle. Hello. That's
all the areas that everybody always asks about, right? So
crazy. So, you know, if you signed up for the 5-day challenge, and I know a lot of you missed a day, 2, 3 days, this is why you need to attend. If and we apologize ahead of time, we had technical difficulties. This summit was supposed to happen on the 8th, or on the, when was it? The 8th.
The 4th.
The 4th, November 4th. It was supposed to happen November 4th. And this is also why we're offering this bundle, to also apologize, because if you had, signed up for the summit and were ready to watch it and carved out those 3 hours, we wanted to offer you something to hang in there. We're going to bring it to you in 2 weeks. We wanted to gift you guys something for being, showing us some grace. We had technical difficulties. There was no way we could go on. None of our slides were working. So this is why we also put this bundle together, for your patience and your kindness. And so you get these amazing bundle. You're going to hear a lot of amazing testimonials that are going to blow you away. So if you are ready to step off that weight loss roller coaster once and for all, and you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, type Summit down below. There's still an opportunity to register. We want you there. We want you there. And if you don't have time to book your success call today, that's okay. You can book it tomorrow or Sunday, right? There's still going to be an opportunity to do that. And this is really for women who have not watched the 5-day challenge. Ladies, if you have already attended the 5-day challenge, I mean, it's not really necessary for you to attend, because it's literally the 5-day challenge in 3 hours. Okay. Yeah. So if you have been a participant from the 5-day challenge, because we know if you've attended or not, and you've watched all 5 days, I'm letting you know right now, it's nothing different than the 5-day challenge. It's the same. It's the same content. Okay. So, because I don't know, we had a lot of repeat people who did the whole 5-day challenge, and they're signing up, and I'm like, I'm reaching out to you guys. I'm like, it's the same. You don't need to. And they're like, oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know. Because I don't know if it's clear or not. It's the exact same content. No need, we love you though, but there's no need to carve out 3 hours of your day when you've already watched this. Okay. Yeah. You've already been there. You've already participated fully. Okay. So no need. But if you refer a friend and you get your friend, your family, your sister, your mom to watch, both of you will get our hormone meal plan guideline, which is brand spanking new. So if you're going through the menopause transition, premenopause, in menopause, post-menopause, you're going to want your hands on this meal plan. Okay. So that is a gift if you invite someone to join. Okay. So there you go. Thank you so much, Coach Janae.
You're welcome.
Man, what a ride, right? This whole road to pro. It's been, I'm so proud of us. Honestly, I'm so proud of the packages that we brought. So we will be back. Our new time for Fit Beyond 40 on Fridays is going to be on Fridays at noon. And we'll have Joanne and Jane on next week to share their testimonies. So for you ladies out there, you can see their before and be like, oh, that's me. Is it possible to look like that? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. So thank you, Coach Janae, for the ride continues.
Yes.
The ride continues. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time on the Get Crystallized Show, featuring Fit Beyond 40 on Fridays, Road to Pro. We'll see you on Friday, noon next week. Have an amazing day, everybody.
Bye, guys.